But check this out. We're going to kick it off hardcore with last week's Geniuses of the Week. Now, let me ask you this. If you guys all had like this one core thing that you knew you could do every single day, and if you focused on that, would you be interested in learning what that one thing is that could grow your business every single day? If you would be, write yes in the chat roll right now. Because we have Tracy and Dina coming out. They're going to share exactly how core values, one thing, two things, five things, the most important things you can do, can help you in your business. Tracy and Dina, welcome to the show.
Thank you. Awesome. So, first of all, just want to say hello to everybody that's watching on the DGL Real Talk page right now. I know that there's a bunch of people there that messaged me today saying, how do I get on? What do I do? And so just want to say hello. Thanks for being there. And check out the page. It's absolutely awesome. It's full of value. And welcome. So thank you. So today, Sean, can I just go ahead and share my screen?
Do it up, girl.
Do it up. Okay, so let me just get rid of these controls. How do I get rid of this? What do I do? How do I get rid of that? Dina, how do I get rid of that?
You should be able to drag it.
Okay, let's try.
You can click and drag it. You can.
Okay, but I don't want to drag it by holding mute or something.
You can just click and drag it down to the bottom of your screen or the right side of your screen or something like that.
There we go. I'm dragging. Good. Okay. Good. Okay. So now. Whew, okay. Guys saw everything already. I've given away the farm. So today we're going to talk about core values. I've done this presentation before for the Laptop Globetrotters in their inner circle group, and when I knew that I had to present again, I was saying, well, what should I present on? And I had a number of people say, can you do that presentation again, because it was really good. So I was like, oh, thank you very much. I'm going to do that. So I'm going to talk about core values. And I got to get rid of all these faces that are in the way here too. Oh no, I don't think I can. How do I drag them? I don't have a thing. Where? Okay. Dragging. Patience, people. Okay. So understanding your core values so that you can create a mission statement that will attract the business partners that you want. Why isn't it going? Oh, sorry. Okay. What you'll need: a pen or a pencil, paper, and your hearts and your mind, because this is going to be interactive. Awesome. I see Sean gets out his big book. Sean, I love you. Awesome. Okay, so what are core values and how can they help you with your business? Listen, core values are just what's really deeply important to you, what resonates to you deep down in your core. Okay, and how can they help you in your business? Well, when you know what your core values are, they can help you to be able to determine what your mission statement or create your mission statement or your vision statement for your business. These are very good statements to help you with connectivity to the people that are going to be looking at your business and finding out if it's a good fit for you. The statement helps companies determine if they're on the right path and are fulfilling their goals. But come on. And what do I know about core values? Why should you listen to me? Well, for the last 25 years until I retired, I was a professional tennis coach. So my career in the umbrella, I was a professional tennis coach. I specialized in high performance competitors, traveled all over the world with players to tournaments, taught them how to compete, how to handle adversity, and also did my best to try and create decent and outstanding human beings as well. As I traveled around the world, that's how I ended up meeting Brandon Liu and Brendan Menensala. They ran a tennis store, and they actually sponsored some of my tours when I went around the world. When we came back from doing some touring, I said, you know what, I think this is fun and everything, but I want more out of life. So I became a coach educator. And so what that means is I started working for my national and provincial organization, sports organization, and I started delivering their training course throughout the country and throughout the provinces. So I would deliver the training course to candidates who actually wanted to become coaches, and then I would put them through their paces and I would qualify them. And I actually qualified Brandon Menensala. He was one of my students at one point. Yeah. From then on, I went, okay, I want more. So a bunch of colleagues and I got together and we decided to build a tennis center from scratch, from the ground up, which included finding the place to put it, getting the construction underway, building programs, attracting people, building systems, you name it, we did it. And so that's what we did. That was pretty good. It took a few years for us to get that going. I was pretty excited, but I wasn't finished. I wasn't done. And after that, I decided that I wanted to become a consultant, because after doing all that with my career, people started calling me and asking me for some advice, and what should I do, where should I go? And I said, I'm just going to start to consult. So then clubs would start calling me and asking me if I would come into their clubs or into their programs or into their systems in general and say, listen, can you just help me figure out what's going wrong? What can we do better? Why is our membership not doing so well? Why aren't people excited to be here? Why is the energy so low? Why aren't people signing up for my programs? Why aren't I making more money? Why are my staff not connecting when I do the Monday night socials? Why are only 2 people showing up? Where's the rest of them? Where is everybody? So bear with me while I'm telling you this, because I am going to swing it back around to why it's important for you. Okay, so people will come into their clubs, and I'm going a little bit faster because I know I only have 10 minutes, right, Sean? Okay, so I only have 10 minutes. This is usually a little bit longer, so I'm going to go in a little bit faster. So get your pen and paper out, okay? This is where it all begins. So people would ask me to come into their clubs or their business, and they would say, there's something wrong. I'm not really sure what's going on. Can you come in and can you help me figure out what's missing, what's going on? And so I would immerse myself into the club or into the program or become one of the staff, and I would try and see, what was wrong, what could be better. And there's one common element that I found when I was going through these clubs or these programs or these systems, and it was I had no idea what they stood for. I had no idea what was important to them. And furthermore, their members had no idea what was important to them or what they stood for. Some of their staff members, the people working within their organization, had no idea what they stood for and what was important to them. And of course, you can imagine this leads to things like miscommunication. This leads to things like expectations not being met. This leads to things like disappointment. And so I said to, whether it be the board or the head professional or whoever was in charge or whoever wanted my input, I said to them, it's kind of like everybody's lost and nobody knows what's going on. So what I suggested they do was they gather their board members or their staff or the people that are going to be creating their systems or their programs and get together and do what you're about to do right now. And that is write down, usually it's 20, but because we've only got a few minutes, write down 10 of the things that are most important to you, the core values that are most important to you. And don't worry about what order they're in. Don't worry about whether they're business related, whether they're personal related. Dig deep into your heart, dig deep into your mind, and figure out what are the 10 things that if you were going to be running a business, if you were going to be in charge of a staff of people, if you were going to be asking people to come and work with you, if you were going to be in charge of a club or membership or programs, what is important for you? What message would you like all the people that are going to work with you on that project or in that program, what page would you all want to be on? I'm only going to give you 1 minute to do this. Don't worry if you get them all down or not. Do your best to get as many as you can. If you can't get 10, don't worry, because we've got to make sure that we're timely in this fashion. But this is pretty important. Okay, 1 minute is done. Okay, so don't worry if you've got all of them down or not. So now what I want you to do is I want you to take those 10, doesn't matter what order they're in, and now I want you to cut down to your top 5, or even if you want your top 3 that are the most important to you. Which ones stand out to you that you just couldn't, that are just, they're a part of your fiber, they're a part of your being. Okay, now, imagine having somebody come into your business to work with you, whatever capacity that may be at, who actually shares these core values with you. Okay, don't tell me what your core values are now. Don't tell me what your top 3 or your top five are now. But just understand that understanding your core values allows you to convey your message about who you are and what you're all about to the people that you're trying to attract to come and work for you and with you. Okay, so here's an example of when I was a touring coach. This was from my website. My top 3 core values were people, passion, and performance. So when people came looking for me to see if I could take them on or if I would be a good fit for them, they'd see that people, passion, and performance were my top 3 core values. And they had to understand that I was going to put people before trophies. I was going to put people before ego. I was going to make people more important than anything else. So if you were more important than the big win, if it was at all costs, I wasn't the right person for you, because I was more interested in creating people and performers, not just people that won trophies. If you were interested in trying things out, I wasn't the person for you either. I had to have people working with me that were passionate about the sport and would show up every day, eat, sleep, drink, passion for the sport. Nothing like, I think I want to try it. No, it's you're sure, 100% all in. Performance. So there's actually a formula for a performer. And if you didn't match the criteria of a performer is somebody who's focused, athletic, competitive, who knows when to make the right decisions, who knows when the right decisions are and when to make them. If you didn't have that level of performance, if you weren't there, we weren't the right people to work with. But there was no ifs, ands, or buts about it. This is what I was all about. This is the club that I worked at. That's actually me giving a coaching course there. And you can see up on the wall, excellence, discipline, and respect. This was one of the top clubs in the country. And the reason why it was one of the top clubs in the country is because everybody knew what we stood for. Everybody in that club was on the same page. The staff had the messaging that was going through the club were all the same. If somebody didn't show up that day and give their best, we just point at the sign on the wall and say, look, if you're not going to give excellence, this isn't for you. Maybe you should go home. Or if somebody was being disrespectful, hey man, respect, point to the sign, if this isn't what you're going to be, this isn't for you. So it was really, it was one of the most, like I said, one of the most successful clubs in the country because everybody knew when they were coming in here what we stood for. Everybody knew that when they worked here what we stood for, and everybody was on the same page. So it's really important, this message, to deliver to people. Okay. So why are these? So let's make this circle back to what we're doing now. And why are these important? It's important because I want to work with people that feel the same way that I do, right? I want to work with people that are going to be around for years and years and years, who are going to have the same core values that I'm going to have. And so I'm going to really search myself for what my core values are so that I can make a statement that I'm going to put out to the people that I want to work with so that they know what I'm all about, okay? And so what a mission statement is just the who, what, and why of what your company is. It's like your roadmap for your company's vision. And what is your company's vision statement? Well, your company's vision is where your company wants to be. And it's not just where the company wants to strive to be, it's where the company wants their community or even the world to be as a result of their services. And by now, you're probably starting to connect the dots. This is starting to sound very relevant and very familiar. So here's one of the best examples of a mission statement that I could find. This is the DGL Manifesto. There isn't a better mission statement or vision statement that I've been able to find yet that is absolutely crystal clear on what they're all about, what they stand for, and what direction they want to go, not just with their business, but with their community and with the world. And if you take a look at the things that I'm pointing with my pen, you can't see it now because I'm sharing my screen, but I am pointing. If you can see the things that are highlighted in green, it's really easy to see what their core values are. Life is a gift. Gratitude, right? Meaning to impact the world. Contribution, giving back. Anything worth doing is worth doing well. Excellence, doing the right thing. Integrity, So it's incredibly easy to see what the core values of this business is all about. And if this is something that's important to you, you've already started to find connectivity with this. A digital genius is powerful like a lion and walks with a grateful and humble heart. A digital genius uses their skills always for good and never for evil. A digital genius leaves the room they enter a better place compared to how they found it. And if that isn't a mission statement, I don't know what is. I mean, that just tells you right there exactly where you stand. And if that's something that gives you goosebumps like it does for me, then you know you found your tribe. You know you found people that believe in the same things that you do. So if you haven't seen this manifesto, if you haven't read this mission statement, this is one of the best examples I could give for you. But then I go on. I digress. Courage, commitment, passion, perseverance, excellent. These are actually my 5 core values. These are the core values that are on my page. And our mission is to teach others that are ready that by taking actionable steps in business, it's possible to make serious, positive changes, both personally and in the world. Now, how is this helpful, me just showing you this picture? Well, it's not just a picture that I'm putting up here for you. This is something that I actually want people to see. So how do I get this message out to the people that I want working with me? Well, I put it on my business page. It's pinned to the top of my page so that anybody new, anybody interested, anybody that's, checking things out, anybody that's scrolling around can see it. It's also in my about section so that people are going, hey, what is this, what are these 2, Tracy and Dina, all about in their Take 2 page? Let's go see what they're all about. This is a mastermind accountability group. And you can totally see what their mission is what their core values are all about. They're motivated, innovative creators. So they value motivation, innovation, and creativity. And their mission statement is together will make a difference. So it's very easy to see that this group is about teamwork, togetherness, and making a difference both with each other and in the world. So it's very easy to see if this is something that's for you or not. So here again are our core values: courage, commitment, passion, perseverance, and excellence. And one thing to say about this is that these aren't the same 5 that I presented earlier when I presented this to the Laptop Globetrotters. And the reason is because they've changed. My priorities have changed. And that's very common in businesses when you feel like you're not on the right track or you feel like your track has changed. It's very common for businesses to reevaluate and reassess their core values and change them up. So now what you've done is you've taken those 10 core values and you've taken them down to 5 or 3, and now you've got homework. Okay? So between now and next week, and hopefully Sean will let us come back, and if he doesn't, he'll take notes for us. Part 1 of your homework is to use the core values that you just wrote right here, right now, with all of us, your top 5 or your top 3, and you're going to create your mission statement, just like the examples that I showed you. Oh, sorry? Sorry, did somebody just come on? I thought I just heard somebody.
Nope, I don't think so. You're good.
Oh, okay, sorry. Okay, so go ahead and start there. Then part 2, after you've made your mission statement, and by the way, guys, when we did this exercise in the past, it's not something that people were able to bang out an hour. It actually took some people a week, 10 days, 2 weeks to actually really hone in on what their mission and your mission statement into your business, into your branding, and into the messaging that you want to send to your audience. And that, my friend, hopefully was helpful. Because if you find the right group of people, you will have people in your life working with you, helping you build yourself personally and professionally for years to come.
Woo! That's awesome, Tracy. Look at that group of people right there having fun with money. I like that because I haven't got to hear all of your story, so I got to learn a little bit more of your story there. And before we go to our next guest, I wanted to hear the one takeaway that Hunter got from that. Here.
But it's also got to be very simple.
Boom. And that is a simple takeaway. I like it. Simple is good. Well, for our next guest, curiosity is a really powerful driver And that's exactly what she has done for me for this next topic. She'll be talking about the ultimate credit hack. And if there's someone that has had to figure this out because she's traveled all over the place, had to be resourceful, it is her. And so without further ado, Erin, come out, please share all your secrets on how we can hack our credit.
What is up, guys? Yeah, I feel like I'm mixing it up tonight. I feel like nobody's ever really talked about credit before, and I can't take full, no, I don't want to say responsibility. What word am I looking for? I can't take full credit, I guess, for it. I can't take full credit for, I guess, the credit hacks that I'm going to share with you. Actually, a girl on my team, Emily Underwood, seeked out, just different credit hacks, different ways to improve your credit repair, all this kind of stuff. She found these amazing, amazing people who I'll share their Instagram accounts at the end of my little spiel here. But she found these amazing people who actually also live in Las Vegas. We got to meet them in person. They're also in Enagic, actually. One's a 6A2. He's Brendan Teager's downline, if anybody knows who he is. But it was just crazy, all the connections that ended up happening, because I've been following Brendan Teager for like 2 years, and now I'm sitting at dinner with his downline, and this dude is just a credit wizard. So I actually won a giveaway that they were doing with, one of the courses that they sell. And they jam-packed this with so much information, it blew my mind. So I'm only going to share a very small segment tonight because I don't want to I don't want all of your brains to explode all over the place because that would get really messy. But I'm going to share just a small percentage of what they have shared with me because it's literally blown my mind. And over the course of the last few weeks, I've been asking a lot of you, mainly my team, but even people outside of my team, how much you guys actually know about credit, how much you guys actually stay on top of your credit, understand the importance of credit, and all of those things. And a lot of you are kind of in the dark. So whether you have, maybe bad credit that you want to improve, whether you have good credit that you just, want to make better or anything like that, this is for you. Wherever you're at with the credit game, if you don't even have credit right now, this can still be for you. So I really just wanted to kind of educate you guys because a lot of people don't even realize the importance of credit, I think. Credit and having a good credit score and good credit history is the deciding factor between if you're going to get approved for a house one day or a car. You know what I mean? These are very important things to have in your life. So it's really, really good to make sure that you're staying on top of it. You're checking in on a monthly basis and you understand how it operates and how it works. And I think just so many people don't really know that because we were never taught that. There's no high school class you take. There's no class in college you can take that's going to teach you all of these things. So we really have to kind of figure it out ourselves. And that's what I want to share with you guys tonight. So I am going to go through the 6 different things that actually affect your credit so you guys are aware of what is affecting your credit first. And then we're going to go through different ways to really just kind of fix those things and understand those things and know how to optimize those things. So I am going to pull up handy dandy Credit Karma right now. If you guys don't have Credit Karma, it's free. It's awesome. It's a great place to check your credit so you can see what is actually affecting your credit. But like I said, I'm going to go through the 6 different areas so you understand kind of how to improve those areas. So the first thing that they check and the first thing that really affects your credit score is going to be hard inquiries. So if you apply for a loan or, you apply for a car loan or a credit card or anything like that, generally, if it's not pre-approved, if you didn't get a letter in the mail and it's you're pre-approved for this much money for this card, it's going to be a hard inquiry because they have to go out and they have to ask the credit bureaus what your score is, what your history is, so they know if they can trust you or not. So generally, you only want to have about 1 to 2 hard inquiries on your account. If you have 3 or more, it is going to negatively affect your account or your credit score, sorry. But generally, hard inquiries are not that important, so it's not going to drop your credit score 50 points or anything crazy. It's a very small effect to your credit score, but it still isn't affect to your credit score. So the less hard inquiries you have, the better. I'm actually just going to run through and explain all 6, and then I'm going to come back and I'm going to talk to you guys about just tips on how to fix these things. So generally, like I said, you want to have 1 to 2, and a hard inquiry will normally last on your credit score for about 2 years. So say you apply for a credit card today, 2 years from now, literally 24 months from now, it will finally be off your account. So if you apply for 3 cards, say in a year's time, it's going to show up as 3, hard inquiries on your account for about 2 years. So that is pretty much all you need to know. It's a basic rundown on hard inquiries. The next thing is going to be total accounts that you have open. You have no idea how many people, just when I'm talking about credit, get so scared to apply for more than 1 card, and they're horrified. They're I can't have too many accounts open. That's so bad. I don't want to have too many because then I just look greedy or I look like I need all this money and blah, 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 blah. You actually, I don't know even like how to relate this. I feel like I could relate it to like a video game or like just getting everything like complete. You know what I mean? Like just checking off all the boxes. Maybe like if you're a list person, you'll understand this. But like on Credit Karma, the 6 different areas, they'll give you either like a red, a yellow, or a green. I'm the kind of person where like everything needs to be green. I need all of them to be on Credit Karma. They suggest 11 accounts. And from doing further research, and just talking to different people who know a lot more about this, I've been told that 21 accounts is actually the magic number if you want to have an 800 plus credit score. Again, not sure how reliable that is, but that's just what I've learned from doing, a lot more research and stuff like that. But apparently the magic number for an 800 plus credit score is going to be 21 or more accounts. That sounds insane. I know. So me, you know what I mean? Me needing to open up more accounts and needing to get to that 11 number, I was applying for a new credit card like every 3 months, but didn't realize it was kind of having a negative effect on my credit age. So I am not going to say I would, recommend doing the same thing, but I just wanted to get to that like 11 accounts open. So I wanted to share that mainly because a lot of people are scared to open more accounts. And what it actually looks like to the credit bureaus and the people, how they're determining if your credit score is going to be good or not is it's like, okay, like we have Erin here and she has 2 accounts open. Like only 2 people have trusted her with their money. I don't know. Like I might not approve her for something. Whereas now I have like 13 accounts open. It's just like, oh, 13 people have, lent her money and given her a credit card, given her a loan or something like that. That doesn't mean I have 13 credit cards that all are maxed out and all have balances on them. Most of them actually have 0 balances on them. Some of them I've never used at all. And it's literally just to have those accounts and to show that people have trusted me with their money and that I, haven't broken that trust. I don't have any, negative remarks on that account. And I don't know, I just acted responsibly with their credit cards and with their money that they were letting me borrow. So it's not a bad thing to have more than one account, just in case you guys are like nervous about that. I just wanted to clear the air. It's a good thing, actually, if you have more accounts open. So just wanted to put that out there. Next thing is going to be credit age. This is the only thing where there's no real like quick fix. You know what I mean? You can't just like make your credit age longer. Like if you don't have credit history now, today's the day to start. You know what I mean? Like you're going to get to that 5-year credit age eventually. You're going to get to 10 years eventually. Like but 5 to 10 years have to go by. So this is the only one where it's like, okay, like this is more of like a long-term plan. Luckily, it only has a medium impact, so it's not a huge deal with your credit score. It is still medium, so it's good to have that longer credit age, but just know that this is the only thing that's not really in your control, so totally cool. If your credit age is very short, derogatory marks, this is actually very important. This has a very high impact, and this is normally, at least from the people that I've talked to, it's generally derogatory marks or credit card use. So like the utilization, the percentage that you're using on your credit card. It's normally those 2 things that really are affecting their credit score if they don't have a good credit score. So derogatory marks would be if anything that you had was sent to collections, if you have any tax liens, if you have bankruptcies that you have filed or anything like that. That would be a derogatory mark. I'm actually going to be sharing with you guys here in a second how to get those off of your credit score. But that has a very high impact. So if you have a derogatory mark or 2 derogatory marks, it's really going to affect your credit score in a negative way. So it's a really good thing to get those things off. But next thing is going to be credit card usage. So this is literally like if you had 2 credit cards and they were each $500 credit limit. You have a $1,000 credit line. If you're using $700 and you have $700 sitting on there, that's like 70% of your credit score. You don't even earn our credit score, your credit limit. So your credit card utilization is going to be 70%. I don't know off the top of my head, but I believe it is 30% that you're supposed to be keeping it under. 13, I think, is like the magic number where it's a really great effect on your credit score if you have it under 13%. So if you have a $1,000 credit limit, you're only going to want to have like $130 on there if you want to keep it in the green and really affect your credit score in a positive way. So 13% is what you want to shoot for. Again, if you have a very high credit card usage and you're like, Erin, like I can't just pay this whole thing down, like that's why it's a credit card, like I have all these balances on my credit card, like how am I supposed to get this lower? I'm actually going to give you a hack for that too, so hold on tight. I want to go over the last thing that is going to affect your credit score, and that is payment history. The only real way to fix payment history if you don't have like 100%, which you should, because you should be a responsible human being and pay your credit cards on time. But if you don't, go into your credit card app, schedule out just automated payments, do the minimum payment if you can't do more than that. It's probably only $30 a month. Just schedule it. You know what I mean? If you can't remember, if you're the type of person that's just like, forgot again this month, schedule it. Every single app has the option where you can schedule your credit card payments. You can schedule just the minimum payment. You don't have to pay it in full every single month. Just make sure you're paying the minimum payment on time every month, because it's also very, very important. It has a high impact, so if you're not paying your credit cards on time, it is going to negatively affect your credit score. So we are going to jump back up into hard inquiries. That was the 6 different areas that affect your credit score, so you guys understand what is affecting your credit score. And now we are going to go over how to fix those things if they are negative and if they're negatively affecting credit score right now. So the first one is going to be hard inquiries. So I actually, through the guys who Emily introduced me to, found this website, and I am going to post it in the comments here, but it's a website where you have to purchase a package, and it kind of depends directly on, what you need in, what you need fixed, I guess, with your credit. So I actually want to pull it up just so I remember exactly what each package is. I got the most basic package because I only wanted the most basic things. I have some hard inquiries on my account from applying for cards, and the most basic one is literally a $9 ebook that shows you exactly what you have to say to the credit bureaus to get those things wiped off. It already has the templates, it has the letters that you should send, because all you really need to do is send a letter to the credit bureaus and say, hey, this doesn't match up with this, blah, 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 blah. And as soon as you send that and they actually, process what you have sent them, then it gets wiped off your credit report and you no longer have a hard inquiry. So that was the one that I purchased because that was all I really needed. And they have packages. I think the most expensive package is like $49, but this is like the works. It's like if you have anything in collections, if you have any, liens on your credit score, anything like that, like if you have any medical disputes, if you had to dispute bankruptcy, like if you had, those big things that happen that are negatively affecting your credit score, it's just literally a one-time payment of $49, and it gives you absolutely everything that you need, all of the templates, all of the letters that you need to send to be able to get those things wiped off. So with this, you can actually get things wiped off like hard inquiries, and then you can also get the derogatory marks taken off, and all of those, major things that are affecting your credit. So there is a free way to do it. I just started looking through it, and honestly, I didn't understand it too well. If you guys want it, if you guys want to tackle it and see for yourself, I'll totally send in, the link or the information. I'll make a little unit section in, DGL, or make a post or something like that. I didn't understand it too much, so I didn't want to share it with you guys on here. If I didn't understand it, I don't want to share it with you guys because I don't want to share kind of what makes sense to me. But again, I'll toss that in there in case anybody wants to give a crack at it. But there's other packages in here that are, not as extreme as the $50 package. There's like a $30 package that goes over if you have student loans, like ways to get that, fixed on your credit score, and ways to get that, not as negatively impacting your credit score and all of that fun stuff. So I will post that link in here for sure after I'm done going over everything. But for total accounts, there's another hack that they shared. I am going to wait until maybe next Wednesday if you guys have me back, or the Wednesday after if you guys have me back, because I just tested it myself this morning, and it's going to take about a week to know the results of everything, and I want to make sure that the results go through and I have all the data. So for total accounts, I should have the answer to that in about a week. Even if I'm not on Train or Die, I'll just do a Go Live and DGL and stuff like that. And then the last thing, I'm going to go a little more in depth with one more thing after this. I know I'm not being specific here, but I wanted to go over credit card usage because the derogatory marks and the hard inquiries should be taken care of through the website that I'm going to share with you guys if that is negatively affecting your credit score. So I will pop that in the comments. For credit card use, what you can do, and this also might be solved through what I tested on myself this morning and what I'll know more about next week, but since we're not going to be going over that today, 2 things that I have done for credit card utilization without paying down balances is if you have multiple cards and you've had them for maybe over 6 months to a year, what you can do is you can just go onto the app and you can ask the credit card company that you have your credit card with if you can, what am I looking for? if you can raise the limit on the credit card. So I did that with a couple of my credit cards, and I'll do that every couple months just to check in to see if they'll approve it or not. Generally, there is no hard inquiry at all. I've actually never gotten a hard inquiry for asking to raise my credit limit because they already trust me with it. So as you know, you make payments on time, and even if you have an outstanding balance, as long as you're making payments on time and you're showing the credit card companies that you're a responsible person, then generally they will give you, just a credit extension and raise your credit limit. I can't even talk right now, but they will raise your credit limit. Some of them will only raise it like a couple $100. Some of them I've seen have raised it about $6,000 to $7,000. Like, it just depends on your history with them, and it depends on if you're making your payments on time. So you can literally not even apply for another card and just raise the limits. And then if you raise the limits, say again, you have that credit limit of $1,000. If you ask both of the cards to raise the limits and they both give you $3,000 now instead of $500, you have a $6,000 credit limit. So even if you still have that $700 that's on there and you didn't pay anything down at all, your credit card utilization percentage has now shrunk so much because your available credit has grown. So the percentage is much, much lower, and now your credit score is going up because you have a larger credit limit and you're not using as much. Do not get this credit card, raise the limit, and then go crazy. Come out, visit me in Vegas, go to the club. We're not going crazy with this. We're not like, oh, let me spend all $3,000 now. No. We are just keeping the same amount on there and only using this to get the credit card utilization down so that the credit score goes up. So with that, if your credit score goes up, this is probably the best way to do it, is ask for an increase. What you can also do is you can apply for a card with a high APR. I applied for some travel cards because I love traveling. I applied for the Southwest card, or just different travel cards and stuff that had a very high APR, like 27%, something crazy. Like, I would never leave a balance on these cards because the APR was so crazy. But the higher the APR, generally they're going to give you more. If you have apply for a 0% APR card and you're not charged any interest for like a whole year, they're not going to give you like $20,000 because they're like, oh my God, they're not paying any interest on this. Like, we're only going to give them as much as they need. But if you have a high APR on the card, generally they're going to give you a higher limit. So if you can apply for that and not put anything on it, you now have this, high limit card, maybe like $15,000, $20,000. And even if you don't put anything on it, it is doing the same thing that we just talked about. It's opening up your credit limit and it's lowering the credit card utilization. So you can do that. If you don't have a good credit score, you can, have somebody add you to their card. You can get a co-signer. There's so many different ways that you can do this just to get your name on a card so that you have a very large amount of credit in your name so that your score goes down, or your utilization goes down and your score goes up. And with your credit score going up, that's when you can have fun. That's when you can, maybe apply for a balance transfer card that has 0% interest on it, and you can transfer the balance that you have right now that might have a high interest and get 0 interest. Like, there's so much flexibility that comes with having a higher credit score. I feel like I'm, making all your mind spaghetti right now because I'm using all these big terms and stuff like that. Hope you guys are following me. If you want an advanced, rundown, maybe next week or the week after, we can totally go over that. It's supposed to be basic. I'm getting a little advanced right now. But I hope this is all making sense. I think the biggest thing you could do, because credit card utilization has such a high impact, and that I think is the easiest thing to control because of the factors that I just suggested. So obviously, the derogatory marks and the hard inquiries and stuff, you can do that through sending a series of letters. That takes a little longer. Credit aid is going to take a little longer because you have to just let your credit, really just getting that credit card utilization percentage down. And then whenever you get your credit score up, then, leverage that. You know what I mean? Take advantage of that and apply for maybe one more card that you're going to get approved for a very large limit to get that credit utilization down even more. Apply for a balance transfer card to get, you have a couple $100 on a high APR card, transfer it over, get 0% for 12 months. Let yourself kind of catch up, get on your feet, not worry about interest. So that is going to be all I have because I'm sweating. I'm out of breath. Oh my God. I am going to drop the names of the people, their Instagram accounts, because they share so much value in their stories and stuff. So if you guys want to get more information about credit hacks, how to fix credit and stuff, they do the works. They have taught me so much and it's amazing. I will shoot their Instagram handles in here. I will also drop the link in where you guys can get access to the templates and stuff, letters if you guys want to start sending out letters to fix your credit. And then I think the next thing which I'm not going to go over now because I feel like I'm over my time, but is going over how to get your credit cards and pay your bills. Like you can pay rent, you can pay your health insurance with credit cards. Even though generally they only accept debit cards or bank accounts, there's actually a way where you can pay this with credit cards. And we can go over travel hacks, status matching, how to get diamond status on every hotel, anywhere you're traveling to, free diamond status. I will go over that next time I'm on here because I've been talking for too long and I'm out of breath. But that's all I got. Love you guys.
Woo! Oh my goodness, you hooked us all in. Guys, if you thought that was amazing, write fire in the chat roll. And if you want her to come back, definitely write fire in the chat roll again. Because that's ridiculous. Erin, thank you so much for coming out, sharing that. So valuable, so powerful. Awesome, awesome, awesome. Now it's time, my friends, to move along to the main attraction for this evening. I'm super excited to have Mr. Shane Carling back in the house. Last week, if you missed this guy, he shared 6 things that most people stumble on, most people fail in their life. And then he gave one sentence at the end on how to wipe all that stuff out of your world. But tonight, he said, Sean, I'm coming back. I'm going to come defend my belt. I want it again. And so he came back and he said, Sean, I'm ready to share how to reprogram your mind. So if you want to learn how to reprogram your mind, write heck yes in the chat roll because Shane Carling is about to drop all kinds of bombs right on top of you. Shane, welcome to the show, man.
Awesome. Thanks for having me on, guys. And wow, holy smokes. I feel like I was good on 2 cards. Now I feel I'm like 9 cards short of where I need to be. So I know what you're going to be doing after this. I'm going to be applying for more credit cards. Yes, honey, we're getting... No, I'm not going to tell my wife about it. Maybe I should. I don't know. But I'm excited about it. Hey, guys. Okay, so I want to crush this out tonight. I'm going to talk about something that's very, very real. And it's about programming and reprogramming your mind. And I'm going to give you a little backtrack. So last week we talked about 6 things that hold people back. Addictions, negative relationships, bad environment, being a victim, pride, multitasking, these things that really get in the way and they hold people back because they eat up all sorts of mental real estate. Now, I'm going to teach you some very powerful secrets. I learned this at a set, so I'm not going to teach, this isn't who built a business up to $100 million. And it's called The Captain and the Crew. Before I talk about it, I'm going to reintroduce 2 words. I introduced them last week. I think that these 2 words, especially for you guys who are building business, when you're doing your high-ticket sales, you're getting your leads on board, you're trying to sell something that's expensive. Sometimes people's fears, their programs can come up. By explaining these 2 words to those people, you can really help reduce a lot of objections. The word is objective and subjective. The word objective is when you're looking at something based on the facts without an emotion, an opinion, a bias, a judgment, a mental narrative, or a story associated with it, okay? Simply looking at it based on facts. Looking at something subjectively is when you are looking at something with your, now you guys, something in the way of how it truly is. Like, for example, Donald Trump is the president of the United States of America. Right? Now, I hope I didn't trigger everybody and your brains exploded. I just said something objectively. I said something. I did not say good, bad, right, wrong, good, evil, anything. I simply said what something is. Now, to say he's the best president or the worst president, very subjective. Some people believe this, some people believe this, right? Oh, someone dropped off. I literally, oh my gosh, somebody dropped off this. This is the best. I just proved that oh my gosh, that's hilarious. I don't know where she went, but hopefully she comes back on here. That's funny. Guys, listen, I'm not saying, I'm just showing you something objectively, okay? That's just a simple statement. Now, when you're explaining something to people, a lot of their subjectivity comes into play. Now, I'm going to explain how the mind works, but before I do, I'm going to explain how a lot of people have been told the mind works. A lot of people, correct me if I'm wrong, have you ever heard that the brain is just the way it is, you can't grow new brain cells, when brain cells die, that's it. You get what you got, and you got to work with it, okay? There is a lot of science, tons and tons of science now that has come out that has shown that the brain is very plastic and malleable. It is always changing. It is always growing new connections. Literally right now, you are making millions upon millions of new neural connections. And your brain heals, it regrows. There's a doctor named Dr. Your Brain. I would highly recommend reading that. And there's also Joe Dispenza. Has anybody ever heard of Joe Dispenza? If you have not heard of Joe Dispenza, you need to go get some of his books. I'm gonna tell you guys some great reading and audiobooks you should do after this. Really incredible stuff. Very forward, very future paced, but incredibly powerful and very, very profound. So let's talk about the way that the brain works when we're kids. Okay, when we're kids, we're forming our subconscious narrative. We're like a bowl. Okay, it's like this. All of the information and stimulation that's coming in, all the things our parents are doing and saying, and anyone who's coming into our environment, that information is programming your subconscious mind. Your subconscious mind, as in your deep root-seated belief systems. Okay? Sometimes they're good, sometimes they're BS belief systems, okay, that are really not serving you. I'll give you a great example. When I was a kid, and I love my dad, we're best friends, he's freaking awesome. My dad's Kung Fu is so good, it's probably better than most dads' Kung Fu. That's why I think about my dad. He's awesome, love my dad. But my dad taught me how to be poor, very poor. He didn't mean to do it. I love my dad. I remember specifically, I was sitting there playing Lego. Anybody remember Lego? Freaking awesome. Legos, Constructs. Chris is a Constructs guy, right? You Constructs? Yeah, Constructs. You didn't do Constructs? Man. Well, at least Lego. Okay, so I was playing Constructs Lego in the living room. My dad, I didn't know this, but when he was not even too far before this, he was running 7 construction contracting companies. Bricklaying, steelwork, drywall, all that kind of stuff. Okay, so he was very busy, very successful. He had a bad account, didn't have great communication capabilities, and so his account, I don't know what happened, all this stuff kind of happened, and basically some account ended up with all of his money and his businesses went kaputs, and it just kind of went downhill, and so all at the same time as a giant stack of bricks smashed him in the knees and took his legs out. My dad was wiped out. So Dad got a little bit bitter, and he would watch the news, and I remember because he would, watching the news, eating peanuts, because he loved his bowl of peanuts, just sitting there, and he was just watching the news all the time. He really got hooked on the news, okay? And I'm playing Lego and Constructs, 3 years old. I love Dad. When you're a kid, Dad is like the omnipotent one, you know what I mean? The all-seeing, all-knowing, all-powerful Dad. And so I'm playing Lego. My dad's speaking off about rich people. Well, I've had this conversation with my dad. I was like, Dad, you made me poor until I was 28. I couldn't hold 2 cents together because of this. He would tell me, rich people are all a bunch of crooks. They're a bunch of lying, thieving, Turkistan. Just beaking off on wealthy people and people have money. And so I'm like, yeah, screw rich people. They're all evil, pieces of garbage. I made this judgment. Now, that was a very subjective, I think we can all, very subjective, slightly extremely subjective opinion, okay? Good luck trying to make money if you think all rich people are evil crooks. Super, super crap. I mean, that was the worst program. And I literally, as soon as somebody had money, in my head, I would judge them as evil. They're criminals. They're crooks. They're bad people. I wouldn't say that, but it was something I internalized. And we went to this one church, and there are money is the root of all evil too. And so all of these weird programs stuck in my head, and they kept money from me by miles. Okay, I literally, when I was in my 20s, I drove a 3-cylinder fire. Three-cylinder. It was actually pretty fun to drive. It was convertible. It was really cool. Not exactly a babe magnet. Okay. But it was a lot of fun, and it was cheap on gas, and I went everywhere on that thing, and it was great. But the bottom line is, I couldn't make money. I couldn't hold on to money. My bank account, I was always in the negatives on my cards, everything. And then finally I met a mentor who was bold enough to just look at me, and he straight up said, Shane, your poverty consciousness is so strong. It's making me broke. Get out of my face and get out of my life until you figure it out. Woo! Oh, smokes. All right, so I think I had some work to do because my narratives affected my results. And it was so strong, honestly, it was affecting everybody around me. Okay, it was like a mental virus. It was kind of contagious. I've learned one thing is I can influence people. So if I, have an anti on something, then it can affect a lot of things. And so I knew that there was some deep work to be done. Where did that belief come from? Why? What was really going on? I wanted money, but I hated money. So a lot of people have these types of narratives. Wouldn't you like to be able to just drop that addiction that's been haunting you? Wouldn't you love to be able to fix your mood instantly? Wouldn't you like to be able to have unlimited amounts of energy all day, every single day, with total mental clarity, power, and focus? You can have that. Wouldn't you love to be able to learn faster? You can do that now. Wouldn't you love to be able to read lightning quick? You can do that now. When I was a kid, I had this friend named Terry. He used to tell me how he read books slow. All the people in school picked this thing up. Oh man, I'm a slow reader. I'm just a slow reader. All these kids kept saying, I'm a slow reader. That is the most ridiculous thing. You mean you're looking at words and you can't interpret with this brain that sends electric signals as fast as the speed of electricity, that they're somehow slow, they're seeing the information and it's not downloading? You're learning everything instantly. You are only limited by your capacity. Your capacity to learn is limited by your perception of your ability to learn. You can change that instantly, right now. I'm going to say that one more time. Looks like Sean's taking it out. Your capacity to learn is only limited by your perception of your ability to learn. You are unlimited in your ability to learn. Let me explain. Your brain cells send signals at the speed of electricity. It's electrical signals. How fast does electricity move? Well, a great example is you guys are all in different places in the world and you're hearing me right now instantly live, and there's maybe a half of a millisecond of a millisecond. You know what I mean? Like between where I'm speaking and you're receiving this information. So electricity is pretty darn fast. Now, reduce the space, put the brain cells together. There's about 50,000 or so brain cells can fit on the head of a pin, on the tip of a pin, and they're sending so they're super close. Okay, and they're sending signals through electricity. And the furthest that electrical signal has to go in your brain is like from here to here. So that's not a lot of distance for electricity to pass. And so your brain cells don't have to do some arduous, tough work to learn stuff, okay? But it's your ability or your perception of how fast you can learn, which is formed by your subconscious. Sometimes parents tell their kids, he's shy or she's shy. Oh, he's always doing that thing, He's always doing that thing. And he keeps doing that thing. And so parents unwittingly and unknowingly reinforce self-defeating, self-deflating, destructive programs in kids unconsciously, not really understanding the power of their words. And it happens. Look, I don't expect anybody, I'm not pooping on parents. I mean, it's a tough gig and emotions run high, and when things happen and you say something, it freaking happens. And so it's some way, some point, some trajectory in time, whatever, we've all been impacted in a negative way subconsciously through statements from our parents, okay? As good as they can do, as good as you can do, you're going to mess your kids up a little bit. It's just a human thing, okay? So how can we fix this? I'm going to explain something that I really hope you guys grab and use this, because wow, is this powerful. It's called the captain and the crew. When I understood this, it changed everything for me. So all of those subconscious beliefs, the programs, the narratives, the opinions, if you're my dad, anti-money, my mom said this, this guy said this person I respected said I read slow, and all of those things go into your subconscious. The more you respect someone, the more you look up to them, the less you filter the information from them, right? And so the easier that information goes into your subconscious, which forms your biases, your emotions, emotional charge around your bias and your opinions, and your subjective stories, okay? The more stories, the more subjectively you're going to look at things rather than looking at things objectively, okay? The more stories come up, all right? And so this, how do we program the mind? How do we change not just ourselves, but change ourselves in such a way it creates change in others? Because you're leading a path for them to open up the doors to release the shackles of their mind, okay? Your mind is a tool. It is not who you are. You are the awareness of your mind. And so there's the captain and the crew. I'm going to make a circle here, all right? And I want you to imagine that there's a line in the middle, going this way. So your subconscious mind are the, all the little thoughts, programs, and ideas, and some serve us and some don't necessarily. But your conscious mind is the captain of the crew. Your subconscious mind is the crew. Now, on a cruise ship or a military ship, can the crew disagree with the captain, or do they have to follow the captain's orders? They have to follow the captain's orders. Your subconscious mind is the crew. It follows your orders. Right, wrong, good, bad, doesn't matter. Your subconscious mind does not know the difference between truth and a lie, fact or fiction. It just simply says, yes, captain. That's all it says. Yes. I'm going to get fat from eating these burgers. Yes, captain. Guess where the burgers go? Right on your butt. Okay? I can't eat that cheesecake. I'm going to get fat from it. Guess what happens? You get fat from the cheesecake. I can't learn this fast. I'm having a hard time. Guess what happens? You can't learn it fast. You have a hard time. This is a tough thing for me to figure out. Guess what? It's a tough thing for you to figure out. I can't stop smoking. Guess what? You can't stop smoking. I struggle with this addiction. Guess what? You struggle with this addiction. Your subconscious mind can only agree. So, this is simple, and there's not some massive, I'll talk about the science in a bit, but more actually to point you in the direction of the science, I'm going to get you to read a book after this. It's called Evolve Your Brain by Dr. Joe Dispenza. Evolve Your Brain. I'll show you guys the screenshot of the thingy. Hang on, I got Audible. Anybody have Audible? Best freaking thing ever. Okay? Joe Dispenza. Evolve Your Brain. Okay? It's going to break down a lot more of the science behind that. On top of that, this is another one, and I just started listening to this 2 weeks ago, and I'm already 15 chapters in, and I love this. And it's funny because it's so literally in alignment with what I teach, and I think this is great. It's called Becoming Supernatural.
Yes.
By Joe Dispenza. What just happened to the world? Oh my gosh, this is so powerful. Okay, so guys, when you say something, it becomes true. What you focus on expands. Okay? You ever had a bad day, complain about your bad day gets worse, and all of a sudden something really bad happens, and then something really bad happens, and you're like, where is the mercy on this? And then worse things even happen. Have you ever gone down a downward spiral? And it's really crazy how life is not really seemingly merciful. It just goes, it can go darker and worse, and darker and worse. You can get yourself down some really dark paths because of what we speak. From the tongue comes life and death. What we speak, we create. And what we think about and how we think about things, okay, can really affect us positively or damage us very negatively. And again, a lot of the times we're speaking a narrative about a situation, our viewpoint, our perspective on that viewpoint comes from a very subjective, deep-rooted subconscious belief. Can't read fast. Can't figure that out. I'm not technical. I'm not musical. I'm not XYZ inclined. I'm not mechanical. All of these statements that you heard from somebody else saying something that you took on as your own. You formed an identity. Okay? But that identity is absolute rubbish. It's beautiful. It's great. But it's not really who you are. You can absolutely do everything. Okay? And so anytime you have a negative opinion about yourself, what you can do, what you're capable of, it's very subjective. It's a subjective statement. Objectively is you can do anything. Your brain is absolutely capable. You can send signals at the speed of electricity instantly right now. You can learn everything. I don't have to repeat myself even once. You've learned everything. It's all here, 100%. That's a fact. Your brain does learn that way. This has been proven in science and thousands of studies. Okay? Cheesecake won't make you fat. One slice is good. Sometimes two is better. All right? Go eat cheesecake, but it's not breakfast, lunch, dinner, and it's not 3 nights, it's not, just like maybe once a week, like there are some sort of boundaries, and don't get into crazy land with what I'm teaching here, okay? But how do we change? So what do we speak? What do we think? And what are we putting in? Okay, your brain changes because of chicken Brahmins. Yes, I'm awesome, powerful. I'm the beast. I'm the best. Let's go. Massive emotional change. You can come out there kicking butt. but that will sizzle off if you don't follow it up with repetition, continuing. So when you guys learn something, talk about it, write about it, meditate on it, follow up on it, because you're creating new connections, okay? So when you create connections, there is this thing. You're learning new information right now that will all be deeply planted into your long-term memory. Short-term memory, short recollection, okay? But to seal the deal, to get it to really work and to internalize, from when you understand something to when you realize something to when you truly internalize it and you actualize it and actually completely integrate it, okay? You've got to do repetition. So when you hear something for the first time, you've made a weak connection with your brain, okay? They're like these little, it's actually kind of neat. These weird way your brain makes these new connections is these little dudes that look like caterpillars, and they just go like this, and they go from one neuron to the other, and they build a little protein bridge, okay? It's a beautiful thing. It's really cool. And they actually look like this, like these little weird kind of caterpillar dudes, right? And they make these crazy connections. And then when you hear it again, well, it goes back and it makes a stronger connection, right? Now you got extra lines. You've heard it again and again and again and again. All of a sudden you got a freaking hideaway. You've gone from being unconsciously incompetent about something where you didn't even know what you didn't even know, to being consciously incompetent to where you're learning, to being consciously competent to where you're growing, to being unconsciously competent to where you're at a master level. But the true master always goes back to being consciously competent, continuously working on it, okay? So changing your brain is changing what you say and what you speak. So let's just say, I have a hard time quitting smoking. How about this? I don't smoke. Struggle with that alcohol. I don't drink. So you literally see what the problem is, what your negative statement is, and stop repeating it. When you repeat a self-statement, you are affirming that it's true. Your brains are making more connections to justify and to amplify exactly that state. I'm tired all the time. Yes, you'll be tired all the time. Change what you speak. Now, that change, let's just say if you have a fatigue, you suffer from low energy or depression. You say, I'm really depressed all the time. I don't have any energy. I'm not feeling good. I've been super depressed, so I stopped saying I was super depressed. So I have tons of energy. Now, did it happen immediately? No, but it created a change. Your brain is plastic. You're not locked in. You're not stuck where you are. You can create complete change. It can take time, but by saying over and over and over again, instead of I'm tired, I'm depressed, I say, I got so much freaking energy, I don't even know what to do with it. Holy smokes, I'm freaking lit up like Sean is right now, and I got this thing under control, and I'm freaking super happy, and everything is awesome. Now, you might think, why am I saying this? I'm lying. But you're not lying, because it's actually true. You're just staying in your state of being tired and fatigued. That's your subjective story, but it's not the truth of who you are. You have all of the same capacity that everybody who has lots of energy has, but you've owned that story. It's time to tell yourself a new story. Tell yourself a new story about yourself, and who you are. The self changes. You will change into the story you tell about yourself. Now, there's a difference between telling yourself a story and running around while you're driving a 3-cylinder Firefly and telling everyone you're a billionaire. Okay, that's called a lie. Okay, that's not going to create neurochemical change. That'll just make everybody think that you are a straight like weirdo in a 3-cylinder Firefly running around telling people he's a billionaire. Okay. What is more factual is say, I'm on my path to success. I'm crushing this out. I'm making moves. I'm getting forward. I'm moving ahead. I'm learning how to save money. I'm learning how to progress. I'm learning how to grow. Positive affirmation statements can move you towards your goals and can change your state instantly, can change your mood, can change your trajectory in life. So, give me a thumbs up if this is all making sense. I want to tie a couple of things in together here for you guys. Yeah. So programming your mind is simple. Understanding that you create an emotional impact and repetition is the ticket. So what are some things that you can do to create emotional impact that will move you towards changing a state that you're in? So Aaron, my business partner, is super hot in my freaking office right now. I'm just like, oh, okay. I gotta open a window. All right. So, don't have any windows in here. It's acting open. It says It's a little noisy because there's a highway there. But what he will do is he will put himself in, if he's meditating on something, some block, something that's been in his way, and he can finally see what's going on, like there's this fear paradigm, there's this something going on internally, he'll put himself through a highly charged emotional experience or an energy experience, like flying an airplane, bungee jumping, jumping off a cliff into the water, doing something amazing, energetic, but use that as a transformative experience where you're breaking through that. Following it up with meditation, writing, journaling, talking about it to reinforce those pathways, those new neural connections, okay? To create an emotional change. And then, here's another really important thing. So I've got, a couple things really important. Smell, okay? Find something that you want to overcome, create an emotional experience around that, find something that smells great to associate that to trigger it. Because now you're going to re-trigger that state of overcoming and triumphing something in case you happen to relapse. Because remember, some of you guys have been running fear-based programs and narratives for yourself that have been 10, 20, 30 plus years, okay? They're freaking hardwired in there. They will dissolve eventually, but sometimes it's easy to think I'm really positive and I've got tons of energy, and then you finally get there and then something happens, like the dog dies, and you relapse into old you. It's easy to do that, guys. Like, none of us are. So how can you manage your state to stay in that up-level state all the time? Pick something that smells. This is a great one. I got this like life source stuff. I just quantum-infused energy. My buddy makes this stuff. I just find some good essential oils sometimes. I have a spa in my building here, our steam room, and I put bergamot. It's a beautiful essential oil smell. I love it. It's great, and it really gets me into a very calm meditative state where I can become ultra reflective and open all the vaults of my mind and start getting into a deep meditative state. So find ways you can find first identify where you're not free. Find your blocks. Find your limitations. Find where you feel you're not free. Create an experience to overcome that. Okay, I'm not saying go, parkour or anything like that. Just do something that's unsafe, whatever. Cleaning your house environment to walk through meditation and watch your tongue. What are you speaking? If you're going to say something, listen to what you're saying about yourself before you say it. Ask yourself, am I blessing myself or cursing myself with what I'm about to say? Is this actually good for me? Am I about to speak something awesome? Or am I speaking out a limitation that's reinforcing that limitation? Get rid of those limitations by changing it. If you struggle with an addiction, I don't do drugs, I don't do this, just speak it. Your brain will change the chemistry to the point where you don't need those things, and they will literally just fall off. They'll literally just fall off like a little scab. It's just like, done, okay? You can seriously overcome mega stuff. Gosh, there's one last thing I want to touch on. I know we're like super overtime here, guys, but it's not coming here. You know what? Oh, yeah. This is the other thing. Okay, I'm going to give you guys something amazing. So reprogram your mind by watching what you speak and understand that when you catch people in your team saying limiting statements, just rephrase that statement that they said that was limiting with a total affirmation for them, okay? Bless people. What you speak into people, you grow people. When you speak into people, you grow into people, okay? And, and watch what you put into your mind. So music creates an emotional experience, which bypasses the amygdala, and then you can, like, as you people are listening, there's also like the defense, the guard, your narrative. You're listening to what I'm saying, and there's always agree, disagree. When people listen to music, words are going in without that ability. Okay, music is deadly. Mind your music. If you're listening to immoral, corrupt talk, crap, rap, that kind of stuff, and it's going, what gets repeated, you're chanting negative stuff, immoral stuff, very carnal stuff into your brain over and 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 over again. Do you think that that's a smart idea? No, it's really not smart. It's really bad. So the thing is, hey, everybody can make music. Everyone can say what they want. You don't have to listen to it, okay? Choose what you put in very mindfully. Garbage in is garbage out, and when you put too much garbage in, and it taps into all the darkness inside of you, and it brings it up, you start making bad choices and doing dumb things. And guys, you got to be really, really mindful about what you put into your mind. So listen to positive, upbeat music. And one last bonus, go to mindmovies.com, and you guys can actually put a soundtrack and pictures of your life's vision and your mission statement inside of that, and create a little 3-minute movie for yourself on your life, like a vision board. You can watch it every single morning.
Boom! That was insanity mic drops from left, right, center, and everywhere else. Shane, holy smoke, dude. That was epic. All right. The poll is coming out, guys. Who is going to get the vote? Is it going to be Tracy and Dina? Is it going to be our pick a number panelist this week? Is it going to be our favorite beloved unicorn? Or is it going to be Shane? Is he going to defend his title and go back-to-back this week? I don't know, but the poll is going to be coming out very soon. Looks like it just popped out, guys. Make your votes now. Let's go right to the panel. We're going to start with Will and Paige, some of the other Canadians.
Shane, easily, I'm sorry, you just taken it again for me. I mean, what you said about the whole smoking thing, I went through that. For 10, 12 years, I smoked pack and a half a day, and I went through, oh, I can't quit, I'm addicted, I just can't do it. Until eventually one day I'm just like, I'm done. I don't smoke anymore, and after 12 years, I quit cold turkey one day just because I switched my mind to, I'm done, I'm over this. So, I mean, I've experienced that firsthand. It works. I mean, it's so true. So, Shane, you got it for me.
I first of all just want to thank everybody that comes out and presents, because everybody's got something to bring to the table. You know, Tracy and Dina, sorry. You guys, you know, I love the core values. I've been wanting to create a family mission statement. I've also wanted to create a mission statement for our business, so that definitely really got my mind thinking. So thank you for that. Aaron, I think it's always great to know how you can better yourself in your financial department. So, you know, all the tips on credit and stuff. So thank you. But my vote is going to go to Shane tonight. I kind of mentioned at the beginning of Train or Die tonight that I've just been kind of struggling with some negative things going on in my life, and it's exactly what I needed to hear tonight. Exactly. I almost started crying last time Shane presented, and I was actually kind of like scared coming into Train or Die tonight because I was like, I'm going to cry, and here I am almost crying. So I think you should take that as success, Shane, because if you make me cry, then that's a good thing. I've definitely resonated. So thank you very much for sharing what you have shared tonight. And my vote goes to you.
Yeah! Shane, are you going to vote for yourself, or who are you going to vote for, man?
Okay, honestly, Tracy and Deanna, wow. Core values, mission statement, love it, getting everything in line. That is culture creation at its fundamental, like right there, you know? And Aaron, I learned some serious stuff for you, and I really appreciate that, because I wanted to figure out how to get my credit score all the way up to 800. I'm like trying to, like, what's the missing piece? And I think I might have found that there. So I really appreciate that. And so for voting, because I've already heard myself before, I don't know if I should vote for myself. And I voted for myself last time, but I would not kind of like toss, because I'm like, people need their freaking credit fixed. People need like core values.
You can also vote for my beard.
I'm gonna vote for Chris's beard.
You can't.
You
That's
Oh.
I'm gonna say Aaron's was. Oh my gosh, Tracy and I don't know. I'm like this exactly with those guys, because they're so actually equally important. Can I split the vote?
Nope, you can only choose one.
I'm gonna go for Tracy and Deanna, just because I understand that culture is king, and you know what? Culture actually matters. So it's a big deal.
All right, let's go to Mr. Hunter DeButts. What's up?
Oh, wow. Okay. Aaron, I absolutely loved what you said. And Diane, Tracy, fabulous core values. But I've worked sold real estate for 30 years. You know, I know credit. I know how to fix it. It's always great to hear it again. And I'm going to go with Shane, and the reason why is because that caterpillar, that little caterpillar building that protein bridge, you know, that's cool stuff. And I've never heard that before. And that's something that, you know, I listened to you last week, and I think you and I, Shane, had a lot. I went through a drinking and a drugging problem. Actually, I've been clean. This August, it'll be 33 years.
Congratulations.
And yay me. And I know exactly what you said about the, you know, when I can go into a meeting or meet with a group of people, and when I speak, especially when it's about drugs and alcohol, I'm as positive and as certain as anybody could possibly be, because I know it, I've lived it, and I've seen the miracles happen. You know, I mean, time and time again. So that building that bridge, building that belief system. Core values is great. Core values is, you know, we've always learned that you've got to have that why. You know, and the bigger your why, the more success you're going to have. But it still gets back to habits. You know, and Gene, I think I'd like to have you as a mentor for a while. I could certainly use it. I'll go with Shane.
There you go. That's it. Let's jump over to the unicorn. Love it.
I was a little nervous whenever Tracy and Dina stopped talking, because I was just like, okay, I gotta compete with this. Let's try it. And I like finished talking, and I was like, okay, I feel all right. I feel, you know, like maybe, you know, close, neck and neck. And then Shane started talking, and I was just like, okay. And then continued talking, and I was like, okay, I'm not coming back. This isn't happening. I have to go with Shane. That was just awesome. Like I always find so much value in anybody that shares on Train or Die. I feel like I always learn something new from anybody that shares. But like I have never, like I'm surprised my fingers aren't nubs now. I was like, oh, like I was taking so many notes. There were so many new things just to learn, and I just think that was super, super, super awesome. And I'll take any reason to go bungee jumping. Are you kidding me? Jumping out of a plane just to get that emotional connection so I can like get over something. I'll take any reason to jump out of a plane. That was awesome. So my vote is definitely with Shane.
Yeah, plane jumper. That's crazy. Let's go to the beard.
Yes, fun night. All right, sound effect of the night by Aaron. Favorite quote of the night is from Shane, Durka Durka. And he's like, I don't like this, Durka Durka. That was definitely the part. And okay, Tracy, values. I totally wrote out the list, and I only got 8, and then I thought of all these other words, so I'm past 10, and then I gotta rework my 5. So that was really helpful. Credit, 11 accounts. Are we like? That's the part of credit that drives me nuts. Like your credit score would be higher if you had more payments, like car payment and then a house payment. I'm like, no. I worked hard to get rid of all those payments. Anyway, I get frustrated with that. So 11 accounts. I totally was looking at Credit Karma when you're talking about that stuff. I don't have 11, and thank you. But the vote goes to Shane. Here's the hook, line, sinker for me. Slow reader, perception. I'm still guilty of that. Like I was scarred in like high school. I was always the last one to finish a test. And I just struggled to like read the test and like get through it. It was just like, it was really slow. It literally takes me like an hour to read 10 pages still to this day. It's crazy. So Audible is my friend, but I've never taken speed reading, and I've never really attacked it with a different mindset. So there's that. Thank you, Shane. Raise your hand if you haven't gone yet. Ooh, Sean raised his hand first. He doesn't have to go last tonight.
Wow, that's new. That's different. That's awesome. All right, check this out. My votes. I just love everyone that's on the show every single week. It like makes me so happy. It fills me with joy. It's amazing, and I love the show, and you guys should love it too. My vote goes to Shane tonight, and here's why. He dropped some lines that are just burned into my forehead. Those little protein animals are doing their jam right now. He said, your capacity to learn is only limited by your perception to learn. Like, that was like, holy smoke. And then the other thing he told me was tonight was what you speak into people will change the people. Like, I love that part too. I think that's good, and that's you know, I love the positivity. I love always coming from that angle. So Shane, dude, you knocked it out of the park, man. The captain and the crew thing is super powerful too. Yeah, that's my choice tonight, dude. You killed it. And let's go over to Tracy and Dina.
Oh my gosh. Well, first of all, I just, want to say thank you once again for having us on the panel. It's been such a great experience to be with all you amazing leaders and successful people. And we just feel so honored to be here. So thank you for letting us come on and speak a few words. And I would like to vote for the beard, please. and if I can't vote for the beard, I would really like to, though. But if I can't, I would like to vote for Shane. And not because I don't absolutely adore Aaron, because I do. Love you, love you, love you. But I think that Shane, for the second week in a row, is speaking to me. And he knows, for some reason, I didn't change my security settings on my Facebook page like I said I would last week. So I'm not sure what's going on here, Shane. I think we need to talk. But you know what? The thing that's really been, I think, the most impactful that I'm picking up from Shane is that I feel like I'm working very hard on what you're talking about right now. Like, I'm very conscious of what's coming out of my mouth. And we practice this like all the time. We're like, okay, we need to change this. We need to reshape this. We need to reframe this. Let's go. Let's be positive. But I feel like I'm working really hard at it. So, and maybe I'm wrong, but what I thought I got was I just need to do it, right? I just need to say it. It's just like it's one and done, right? Like that's what I feel, and I'm like, damn, I've been working so hard at this, and all I need to do is just like, But anyway, same with Sean. I wrote down. I've got 2 pages of notes here, and one was, am I blessing myself or cursing myself with the things that I'm saying? And that really spoke to me. And again, the other thing that spoke to me was your capacity to learn is only limited by your perception of your ability to learn. Anyways, my brain is in pieces all over the room, so I need to go pick it up. But thank you very much to everybody, and Shane gets my vote. Or the beard.
Yeah, what, Dina?
My vote too. Pretty much everything that Tracy has said, yes. And what resonated with me is that I've always believed that what you speak is what you are putting into the world, what's inside of you. And so if you're not speaking positive, if you're not speaking anything good, just like you say, garbage in, garbage out, you're not having any good impact on the world. And so that's huge for me.
Awesome, ladies. Awesome. And let's end it up here with Miriam. What's up? Where was your vote at, girl? What are you doing?
That really is unfair coming on last, because it's like, okay, well, she said that, they said that. But really, it was tough. I want the beard too, because, you can't, you have to be financially responsible, or else you're going down a slippery slope to whatever. So that's so important, and I learned so much from you, Aaron. It's just so cool. I'm going to have my husband watch that segment for sure. And, it's just, I just finished reading, Know Your Why. Is it? Know Your Why? Is that whatever? Simon Sinek's book. And that's really what I loved was you put that book into such context in our business. And I just was like, I can't wait to do that. Make that so clear. But unless you've got your head on straight and you've got your heart flowing out, and you're really speaking powerfully to yourself, nothing's gonna work. If you're not speaking powerfully to yourself, you won't be able to, one, manage your finances. You won't be able to come up with what your internal vision statement is, because it'll be clouded with those negative thoughts that are replaying in your head. So I have to vote for Shane. So I honestly, Tracy, you were awesome. I loved it. I can't wait to really work that this week.
Yeah, all right, Marion, thanks so much. And the poll is in. The panelists voted for Shane. Let's see if the audience, what really matters. Da-ding, 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 da-da-da-ding. Shane wins again! Congratulations, dude! You went back-to-back! I'm so proud of you, my friend. You are the back-to-back Train or Die champion, and you get to retain the belt again for this week. And as we always do at the end of every single show, please come out and share just a few more super awesome words like you've been throwing at us all night long.
Okay, you know what, guys? I'm humbled by that, honestly. And I just appreciate that, you know, coming on here. And I just know that I know the role of being able to speak into people is very important. And so I take it very responsibly and I take it very seriously. And my intention for here is to help you create the change in yourself through your own inspiration and self-actualization so that you can get anything done that you want in your life and crush your business by helping thousands and hundreds of thousands and millions of people, because you are all making a massive impact. And so being here at this, there's a reason you're here. You're here to learn something that you can use to create change and create, you know, and to be more effective in your life. And so I just want to say that I'm humbled and I'm honored, and I know that there's a big responsibility for anyone who speaks to anyone. So thank you for that. I will leave you with the thing that I repeat, and I tell this to everybody, is the level of your confidence comes through in the power of your languaging. The fastest path from where you are now to where you want to be is in the language that you speak to yourself and other people. But from your mouth comes the contents of your heart. So everything is a heart issue. And just to tie that into tonight, what's in your heart is what's in your subconscious mind. And so learn how to program that with the captain and the crew so that you can be more you. All right? Love you guys and thank you.
Woo! Don't forget, next week we have another guest speaker. Aaron Ellis is going to be in the house with our new millionaire mindset training. If you guys are down for that, he's probably going to be giving us a little walkthrough. Super pumped about that one. I know that's going to be epic. So Shane, thank you again. You are the champion this week. And guys, we will be back same time, same channel next week here on the Train or Die Web Show.